Hello, good afternoon and welcome to Shelboune Park. We have just witnessed the first round of the 2024 BoyleSports Irish Greyhound Derby. Draw 26 heats, 13 on Friday, 13 on Saturday. We are kicking off at 7:34 on both evenings. It will be the first three to qualify and the 18 fastest fourth place finishers. We haven't had much time to digest the draw, but I'm here with the best in the business, Ian Fortune, and we're going through. You done the very same last year, actually. I'm here with the best in the business, Ian Fortune, and we're going to look at all of the opening round heats, 26. We'll fly through them. Ian, kicking off on Friday, heat number 1, 7:34. Kusain Pickles maybe looks like the big name out in trap 5 for Michael O'Donovan.
Yeah, but just a little bit concerned that she was a non-runner from the Maiden Derby, so maybe there is a bit of a niggle there. You know, she was running off the corner in the Juvenile Derby a couple of nights, so I suspect she'll be right as rain. I fear that she was taken out of the Maiden Derby to make sure she was right for this night. There's no question she has the pace to win this contest. Just want to be doing things right. Toolmaker Note ran well the other evening. Fairy Footsteps, a pretty professional starter. Braymore Dice, a couple of big runs in Shelbourne, and the Foxy Devil. The Labana Cody Dog would be a big price to the outside, but I'd say Kusain Pickles be trading in around even money or even shorter.
Yeah, I'd say so. Something around that, all right. On to heat number 2. Again, Michael O'Donovan has a big hope in this. Right Hope Beach, the very fast Right Hope Beach, but he's drawn on the outside of a certain Bocco's Diamond. He runs in trap 5. It's a good heat. Hawkfield Abbey in 1 is return to form for Jamie McGee, and Ballymac was a good winner of a 5-2-5 here a couple of weeks ago too. Yes,
but like this is going to be a one-dog affair in terms of betting. You know, for as fast and powerful as Right Hope Beach is, if Bocco's Diamond comes away on terms, he'll be 6 clear at halfway. Nothing's picking up him. I think we'll see the real Bocco's Diamond from this draw. You know, it could have been very, very hotter. Obviously, enough. You see the wide seeds are drawn out first, and we see Right Hope Beach and Bocco's Diamond, the first dogs drawn out of this heat. You go, oh, is this going to be the heat? But I don't think there is the heat. I think it's all pretty competitive. But I would suspect that Bocco's Diamond will be a pretty short price favourite there. If you want to offer me even money, I'll take some.
Not quite now. I might offer you about 1 to 4 on the night. Heat number 3. Carol Ramsbottom had 3 dogs in the Derby, 3 trap number 1s. You can always a few quid later on, Carol. It's a decent heat. Mairead's Prince, if he comes back to form, he'd have a chance out there in 6.
Yeah, it's not one of the hotter heats. There's no question about that. Mairead's Prince ran okay the other evening, made a few traffic spots. If you go back to his best 550-yard form, he'd run well. I thought Blast Off Rex ran very well for a long way the other evening as well. But no, I don't think the Derby winner's in this contest.
Heat 4 is a very strong contest again. Check for cash and 1 for Cara Ramsbottom. A dog who I think is a little bit underrated. There's not many dogs break 28 seconds for the 5-2-5 here. He posted a good run in a trial, 29.50 odd it was, the same night the laddie dad on 29.44. I think he's gone under the radar a little bit, but it's a cracking heat. You have Evolution, who ran so well here last week, and a dog that we're both keen on, Carrick Aldo. It's a decent heat 4.
I've had a nibble on 2 of these anti-post.
So have I.
Carrick Aldo and Check for Cash.
Sorry, lads.
I just thought they were far too big at the prices they were available. I agree with you. Check for Cash. That's his draw. Delroad Devon will be interesting to see how he goes. Missed the kick the other evening. Die for the inside from trap 6, but he was 6 from 6 prior to Saturday night. So better to come from him. Evolution will be diving inwards. He's loads of pace. There's a pocket down the back straight, just the end of the back straight, where he gets a little bit outpaced. That sort of he's maybe lacking a yard into the third bend, but that's a good heat. Like Carrick Aldo want to be doing things right. Check for Cash, you want to be doing things right. You know, we haven't even mentioned Get Up Me Lad. He can run a bit too. It's a decent contest. Not one now I'd like to be picking the winner for my life.
No, Get Up Me Lad, if you're looking at his trial form, he clocked 30 odd I think it was, or maybe 30.50 in a trial here last week. Ignore that run. He completely stumbled at traps in a 4.30 or 4.40 sectional, so ignore that run. A really cracking heat number 4. On to heat number 5. Again, 7 Beach out in trap number 6. A Lucky Julie, the Oaks winner. Croker Sydney's in a bad dog. He finished runner-up, I think, in the Bart Leahy down in Cork last week, and Toolmaker Curio can run, as too can Droopy's Metaphor. Faris Jerry probably a little bit better over further.
Yeah, I'd say Droopy's Metaphor will actually try and take them along up the inside. Croker Sydney not showing the early he did in the early part of his career, staying a lot better though.
Yeah, he is.
But 7 Beach will be pretty hot. A Lucky Julie, we haven't seen her in quite some time since her Oaks success, certainly here at Shelbourne Park. Be interesting to see how she is. If she's at her best, she has to be a player, but I would say 7 Beach will be pretty warm there. Droopy's Metaphor, he'll be calling for oxygen from the last bend.
Yeah, on to heat number 6. The bit you're fond of, Rushy Meadows goes in trap 2. JT Craze goes in trap 3. And a dog that I think deserves a mention, Dark Dilemma, ran well in here in hot company in the last couple of weeks.
He's been flying for Dave Murray. And you know, if you look back at his 2 or 3 wins in a row here, both or all, the 2 or 3 of them came from the front.
Yeah.
And now he's been stepped up in hotter company. He just hasn't quite shown the same early speed, but he's been running on very well. So just don't be surprised if he ran well. But Rushy Meadows, I thought if she was right, I'd be fancying her. JT Craze is very, very powerful. Flies from the second bend. It's just a case of how close he can turn. They'd be the 3 I'd be looking at.
Heat 7 packed with early pace. We have Dynamic Force, YI Bonnie Lad, 2 real early pacers. What way do you see Heat 7 going? Sorry, Heat 7.
Yeah, and of course the recent Mullingar track record holder Glendale Zozo is an interesting runner there, but from what I've seen of Dynamic Force in recent times, I won't be opposing him. Why Bonnie Lad go up reasonably straight from 4. I don't think he's going to dive inwards. Greenwell Coe is an interesting runner, of course, now with Pat Buckley, but the Yorkshire Derby winner, I think it was the Yorkshire Derby at Doncaster. He looks a nice type, trained by Tom Hilburn. Swords Hero, you'll go on the poorhouse backing him, I'm afraid. Even when the races are sort of put in his favour, he doesn't show the early speed. But difficult race, but Dynamic Force for me would probably the one to beat. Yeah,
Swords Hero's loads of pace as he's displayed in trials, but just hasn't really got it right in his racing career so far around here. Heat number 8, we have Undulation, who really caught your eye last week when she won around here. The regular that is Highview Splash, he won around here as well last week. He's a real professional around here, Highview Splash, and he's got some good course experience as well.
In terms of overall quality, this is one of the hottest races. You know, every single one of them is capable of a big run the night. Superfast Gordon was top class start of the year. Highview Splash has really come back to form. Look at his run on Saturday night was brilliant in Hoop. Opponent ran so well in the Laurels. Extra Gain, such a powerful galloper, ran well over 5.75 last time. And Magical Sapphire ran a stormer on Saturday night, having sort of failed to get home in her 600. The other night she flies home over 550. So it's one of those hot contests, but Undulation is certainly on the right side of Extra Gain. If she trapped on terms, she's going to have a passage into the opening corner. It's a case of how close she can turn, maybe. Highview Splash is perhaps the most likely pace setter. It's a cracking contest though, but Undulation would be my choice.
Heat number 9, the Juvenile Derby runner-up Infield Destiny goes in trap 1 for Barry Clancy. Ballymacdanica, she ran well here a couple of weeks ago on her comeback run, just was picked up, I think it was, by Magical Sapphire. Was it that night?
No, not Magical Sapphire, it was Mustang Fever.
Mustang Fever, sorry, another Packhill foil dog. But yeah, Ballymacdanica, look, we've seen how good she was at the start of her career. But Infield Destiny, look, I know we're both a fan of this dog. I know he frustrates you with his lack of early pace.
It's not lack of early, he just seems to come out skew ways. He just seems to give them a couple of lengths. I think there's plenty of early, but he's just not getting himself in a position to use it. He has loads of gears, he's massive down the back, he stays strongly, but he'll want to be sharpening up at this point now. Ballymacdanica, she got squeezed at an important part of the race the other evening. She was prominent at that point. I would suggest that there's still oodles to come from her. Just keep an eye on Robbie's Galaxy, a dog I really liked earlier in the year. Very, very powerful sort of galloper, big, long stride and real 600-yard greyhound, but he could run well at a decent price. Yeah,
Shy Campbell always has one in the Derby that goes quite well. He moved well in the trial here last weekend, 29.70 odd. On to heat number 10. This is probably Droopy's Buckham's to lose, is it? He's a decent dog, a young dog. He's a big future ahead of him.
Yeah, I was down in Laurel's final night, see him racing from trap 4. It wasn't where he wanted to be. No, it was a case of left turn Clive. He took a left, hit a dog, and when the gap opened again, he went straight in again. A bit concerning. I thought he'd showed him real sort of track craft in a couple of his previous races. He's a brother to Callaway Kinnagar. I really like him. I think he's a very, very fast dog. Just lack of experience is an issue. They're not bad around him. Like Radical Scobie ran very well the other evening. Randolph Scott's has come really good form on his card. Even Carbine it has some decent cork form. And then you see Down to Business, who is a regular here at Shelbourne, performs well in good company. And Glitzy Magic has been flying. One of those heats where I wouldn't like to be backing him at a short price, Drubby's Buckham, but I think if he does things right, he'll be hard to stop.
Has he had a race around here?
No, don't think so.
Trial?
Yeah, trial. He was beat by Drubby Supply the other evening, and I think he was beaten a couple of lengths in 28.03.
Not bad. Heat 11 is a real cracking heat. I'll give you this one. House Martin in 1, Boccos Crystal, of course, the runner-up last year in 2. Merritt's Inclusion in 3, formerly known as Merritt's Inclusion, now called Bubbly Shadow. In 4, Callaway Kinnagar, 5, Keefel Maverick, and 6 is Tarsna Massai. Take it away.
Cracking contest this. House Martin having his first race with Pat Buckley. Boccos Crystal last year's runner-up. Merritt's Inclusion can go up fast. Not the best of starters, but has really good early speed. Callaway, sure, I wouldn't be too worried about the draw for Callaway. In fact, he checked off from one the other evening, got a bit crowded. He'll get a better look at the corner, and he's a very intelligent tracker. Like, he's still the one to beat. But Tarzan Massai on the outside will not be shy of support. It's an interesting contest. That's one where it could turn into a real betting heat. The bookmakers will probably look to take on Callaway. Even though he's an immensely fast dog, just with the speed on his inside and his outside, that could get tricky. That's a cracking heat. That's perhaps the heat of the round. Yeah, it is a good heat. I was a little bit disappointed with Boccos Crystal 2 weeks ago, but last week she went back to near her best. She was very, very good. The English, of course, of Keefel Maverick in trap 5. On to heat number 6 here. Again, High Trend in here. He was the Laurels winner. Heat number 12.
Heat number 12. Sorry. Heat number 12. It's been a long morning. Heat 12. High Trend, last year's Laurels winner. Clona Duke, his kennel mate, and of course Ballymacfin, the Derby runner-up from 2 years ago now. This is another strong heat, as you'd expect.
Yeah, and the Bull Falcon at one point was favoured for the Derby. Obviously, they'd backed him before he even ran his first race. He's the 600-yard track record holder here. Had things not gone wrong the night he ran the 5.75 here, he got clipped or he lost his action.
That was incredible.
I think he'd nearly broken the clock that night for the 5.75. He's still very, very much in the bookmaker sort of bad side in terms of liabilities. He's a good draw there. He should be able to turn close enough to play a big part in proceedings, but you suspect that one of the middle trio, sort of High Trend or Ballymacfin and Clonadduke, one of them will get loose. As a case of can he pick them up? Ballymacfin is probably not the dog he was. He was picked up the other evening by Churchtown City, ran well, but not like he was. High Trend isn't just quite getting away and doing things as well as he was last year, but back to Shelboune Park, trap 3, he could be prominent. Clonadduke is only returning after a long layoff, a couple of trials. You'll need to step up in his trial form, but once you have class, you always have class. So, Casemiro and Esmond Swift will need to be doing things right. It's a strange heat. I suspect the top will be made favourite, but I think if you were a layer, I'd like to be taking him on at a short price.
Yeah, you imagine something's going to be in front of them down past halfway, don't you? And they're going to be difficult enough to pass because they're high quality greyhounds. The last heat on Friday night is heat number 13. Bombay Pat, a fancy of many. Yourself like this dog. Carmack King was a real star earlier on in the year. Coolavani Otto, we all know how fast he is. And Ventry Fate in trap 2 for Owen McKenna. I watched Ventry Fate in a trial here last weekend. He loves to fence, this dog.
He does. He's a decent dog, but this is hot. This is another very hot contest. Like Bombay Pat, trap 6 will aid him in a sense where he can give them a length of traps,
he'll have room,
but he'll have room around the outside to make his manoeuvre. Carmack King is a very, very talented greyhound. I'd ignore his run on Saturday night, missed the kick, and just didn't happen for him. Trial suggests he's back to his best. I'd be favouring the outside pair. Coolavani Otto's a real strong runner, whether he's sharp enough. Our Cracker is a dog, if you look at his first round display in 2 or 3 competitions, that's been his best. I think he's one of those where give him a couple of weeks off, bring him fresh, he produces. At a big price, he could run well there, Our Cracker. And it mightn't be too big a price, but obviously Bombay Pat is going to be very, very hard to beat. If he trapped on terms, this fellow could be even shorter than he is now for Derby Glory come Monday morning.
You're about 10 or 12 to 1 at the moment. Heat number 14 will be the first heat on Saturday night. Cara Ramsbottom trap 1 with Castle Ivy Ginger Bitch returning from her seasonal break. Again, not one of the stronger heats, but look, it's still going to take plenty of win. And Phoenix Memphis running well as well from trap 3.
Yeah, Dealish Nora can run, Tivoli Milo can run, Ballymacbriar can run. Every one of these, if you actually look through their card, they probably have the likes of a 28-10 run on their card. Droopy Supply trialled very well at Shelbourne here the other night, 28.03, beat the Droopy's Buckham dog, ran very hard to win, was it the Consolation Laurels? Fast Greyhound has some good form in the UK. Castle Ivy Jean's a good draw. She's coming back week on week. Ballymacbriar looked to set the pace up the inside. Phoenix Memphis is going the right way. I really like him. I thought he ran very, very well.
Was he the dog that finished behind Carrick Aldo and Clonbrine Treaty that night? Yeah.
He's a nice dog. That's a contest where I wouldn't like to be taking short odds about anything. No. What I'll even tip, at this stage I couldn't tell you. Maybe Droopy Supply, but I'll be keeping an eye on Phoenix Memphis. The firms will price it up. Worth keeping an eye. Phoenix Memphis at a decent price would be tempted.
You have 5 days to think about it. Yeah. Heat number 15, and here we see Toronto Charlie, 17 in a row, I believe. He runs from trap number 2 in heat 15. I don't think it's a bad draw, drawn on the outside of Crescent Emily, who herself is best over 6 bends. I think he could lead up Crescent Emily. I think Poet's Dawn could be gone. Gives him plenty of room, but then you have the likes of Scooby, Pacemaker, Shock Grip and BoyleSports Bob. They ain't bad. Bob was sensational here 2 weeks ago on his return to action and perfect draw on 6. Yeah,
this is good. It's a good contest. Like, I agree with you with the draw Toronto Charlie. If he hits the lids, and he is a good starter, he should get the better Crescent Emily early. Poet's Dawn is more of a trapper than she is early speed. She tends to get a little bit outpaced into the corner, so if Toronto Charlie can trap alongside her, I think he's fine. I think he's got a lovely clean run up the inside. But BoyleSports Bob won't give a damn if he's won 16 in a row. This is a hard running greyhound capable of doing 29-20 around Shelbourne Park every night of the week. And if he does get loose, catch me if you can. Short Grip is a class act. Scooby Pacemaker is one of those where he probably doesn't start well enough and maybe doesn't finish well enough. He has loads of pace, but it's all down the back. That's his issue. Probably enough, but I think 1 or 2 people have said to me about Tono Charlie, maybe he's enough early speed to get himself in trouble, but I think he was okay in this contest. Yeah, that's how I feel about him, but I think in this race he could be okay. So heat number 16 will be race 3 on Saturday. Miami King, what a servant he's been for connections. Great draw on trap 1. Sid Zafiro, of course, a son of Susie Sapphire. There's some other real stars around here, I suppose. Borges Supreme, Breeders' Wood has won plenty around here. And March on Freddy, he really will catch the eye of the English ones.
perfect draw on trap 6 for March on Freddy. Looks like he's go off quite short in this.
He'll be a hot favourite. More so because, you know, you'll have a few coming over from the UK and they're not afraid to get stuck into their own and whatnot. He'll probably be an even shorter price, industry price, than he is on track here. Sid Zafiro can run.
Yeah,
don't get me wrong. And so can Miami King. So like, he'd want to be doing things right on the outside March on Freddy. But if he is the dog they proclaim him to be in the UK and he looks the part, he's got a draw. And I would suspect you won't be getting too much 4 to 6 even. So he could be shorter than that.
Yeah, I'd say around that, maybe a little bit bigger. I'd go for Heat 17, and here we have Tribal Sid, owned by the newly formed Dubs and Culchie Syndicate. Tempest State for Larry Dunn, and Graham Holland goes in trap 3, and Fate Point Harvey, another runner for the Hollands. I think the Holland has 3 in this, is he? 1, 2 and 3 if I'm not mistaken, but Fate Point Harvey, yeah, runs from trap 1. Tribal Sid, he's been running really well. He ran well in Cork the other night. Things didn't go his way and he still managed to win. He's been on the go a while now. Ran well in the International, was just pipped. That was because you were on him, wasn't it? At big prices, but
bit of 20 to 1 that night.
Bit of 20 to 1, yeah, heartbreak. But yeah, it's again a good heat. But what would you decide? But maybe Tribal Sid will be favourite for this. I
think he will be favourite, and he's been on the go for a while. But if you actually look at his card, there's been a few breaks in recent months. Like, he's not overly raced. He won a 550-yard race here earlier in the summer. Obviously, it's in summer going, but he did 15.83.
I remember that night, yeah.
Like that, I don't think any greyhound went faster than him last year's Derby. Like, the other Kobe was the only other dog to break 17 seconds. Yeah, it was 16. It's 15. God,
16 is the
16.
Yeah,
he was the only dog to break 16 twice in last year's Derby.
That's some going. Somebody asked me what.
But Tribal Sid has only started with 550 yards and broke it. Fairbairn Harvey's been running very, very well. He's got a good draw on the inside. It's an absolute match as far as I'm concerned. But I think Tribal Sid will be 5 clear halfway. I think that'll be enough.
Heat 18 is one of the ones I circled very early on in the draw. I know you're quite keen on Hawkfield Blue. You already told me you'd take a bit of even money. This is a cracking heat. Hawkfield Blue in 1. Ballymacgizmo, an English Derby finalist, in 2. The exciting puppy Swords Dawn lacks experience. He's in 3. Sundance Shirley will be a big price in trap 4. Yorkie Ollie. Again, if you're looking at trial form, Yorkie Ollie clocked 30-36 last week. Ignore that. He's done something similar to get up me lad. Stumbled very, very badly at traps. Down on his back legs. Definitely lost 10 lengths in the early part of that trial. And Deadly Disco, another dog I was very, very impressed with in a trial session here last week. The fastest of the session, clocked 28.14. Roy Hope Beach trial just before him, clocked 28.25. And Roy Hope Beach took a flyer, 205 sectional that night. So that really caught my eye, Deadly Disco, last week. But this Heat 18 is probably one of the highlights on Saturday night's card.
It's a good card. It's a good contest. Gizmo hasn't done an awful lot since he returned from the UK. Swords Dawn is so lightly raced. Sundance Shirley be huge price. Yorkie Ollie, there's no getting away from it. He's been disappointing. He's been very disappointing. He's in desperate need of some racing room. Yeah. He needs to get loose some night and get a bit of a confidence builder. And Deadly Disco absolutely took off here in the semi-finals of a 575-yard contest, dual distance. Yeah. And in the 600 final, raced up after a slow start into the opening corner and slammed on the brakes. Now, if any dog slams on the brakes at the corner, I don't want to be on. Hawkfield Blue ran very, very well during the English Derby. He's in class form from last year, and he's after flying in his last 2 starts here at Shelboune Park. 28.40 of the night, not stopping at the line. He's got an absolute solo up the fence there, surely. I thought he'd go around in front. And if you're going around in front and you're doing 28.04 for 5.25...
Yeah, you're doing 29.30 or 40.
You're not getting picked up. No, I thought he'd be relatively short, Hawkfield Blue. Obviously, they'll be just keeping an eye on the outside pair, and Swords Dawn will be respected. Ballymacgizmo, like, so maybe the even money instinctively sort of looking at it, there's probably going to be enough percentage taken up by the others that he might have to get even money or bigger about Hawkfield Blue, but I'm not sure I'd like to be laying it at that price. No,
because like you can't be going 7-8 to 1 about a Yorkie Ollie or a Deadly Disco, so I'd say he will go off a little bit bigger than even money. But yeah, again, I wouldn't like laying him at even money. Heat number 19. Nico Harbour goes in here for All McKenna trap 4. Kennel Companion on the inside. Grange Care Lady, she was running well down in Cork. I think she got to the semi-finals of the Laurels, did she?
She's terrific early speed. She absolutely flew here to the corner on Saturday night. She was picked up late. She's not the stoutest stairs, no question about it, but it's worth pointing out her dam was beaten in her first start over 550 yards. She went unbeaten through the Derby then in the concluding weeks. So Glencoe Lady, she'll look to do a Susie Sapphire from the front. She's a natural starter. Nico Harbour popped out the other evening from trap 4 but edged across. of all the ones he didn't want on his immediate inside was probably Grange Clare Lady, but if she took a flyer, he might just then have a little bit of room to manoeuvre. But Ballyhooly Bruno ran well here to win on Saturday night. Scooby the Boss is loads of pace.
Yeah, Mustang Fever's running well.
Mustang Fever's she had 28-22 here the other week, picking up, as you said, Ballymacdanica, and Croker's Rock will be a big price, but it's a good affair. Now, my own personal preference would probably be for Nico Harbour. I was so impressed with him Saturday night, but it's not the draw I'd have picked from.
Yeah, I think Mustang Fever's running quite well as well. Should have given her a mention at the top of that heat. Heat number 20, Delady Da here goes in trap 1. Another strong heat. Val Tashadelic in 2 for Needius O'Connell. Does like the fence. Dashing Toro, I think he's a track record holder in Clonmel for 550, is he? And Ballinabola Jim, he's running out of his skin around here at the moment, over 575. Step back to 550, I think it was last week, and showed plenty of pace. Dashing Toro and Ballinabola Jim, very, very powerful, but you'd like to think a level start, Delady Da should take this.
He'll be odds on.
Yeah, he will be.
He'll be long odds on. Now, I'm a huge fan of Dashing Toro. Real sort of massive engine, sort of big powerful stride on him. Did he win the Lee Strand?
I think he broke the track record in the semi-final. I don't think he won it. Was it Culavaniotto won it?
No, not the Lee Strand. That was the race champions. I think he might have won the Lee Strand. Bear with me. If I'm wrong, I apologise. Ballinabola Jim is well drawn the 6, as you said. Big Jim, as we affectionately know him as. God, he's running out of the skin. He really is flying at the moment. Imagine just be a joy to own a dog like that.
He's only come back recently. He's back about maybe 4 or 5 weeks.
He sort of lost condition after an English Derby challenge, and it's only started to really fly in recent times. But Delady Da, if he doesn't win there, you'd be very disappointed. Again, 2 on, I'd make him.
Yeah, I'd say you wouldn't be too far wrong. On to heat number 21. Knockeen Dazzler is the big name in here, out in trap 6, now under the care of Patrick Guilfoyle, because Daniel O'Reilly has to do his leaving cert. We've done so well in our leaving cert, and look at us on the telly. Great, best of luck to you, Daniel. But Pat Guilfoyle's dogs are running really, really well around here in Shelbourne Park, starting with that dog that won the sprint Sinus. Good.
Epic.
Good, epic ace. Epic ace. Sign at ace, good. Got there in the end, and he's not even in the Derby. But Knockeen Dazzler is the big name in Heat 21. He was very good when he won the Kirby, and he's got loads of pace, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has loads of pace, loads of early speed. He's yet to really produce his very, very best. There's a lot of comparisons to the Clonbrine Treaty dog with him. We have yet to see his best here at Shelbourne Park, but if anyone's going to get it out of him, it's Pat Guilfoyle. This is a good contest. It's not too bad.
Dano ran well in the Derby last year, didn't he?
Yeah, he did run well last year. May Bazada was actually very unlucky here the other evening. He was interfered with in a race. He has a couple of good runs here. He's a strong runner himself. Rapido Bob was flying over 600 yards. Rapido Cronin, good starter. And that Arthur Cornflake has won well here at Shelbourne in the past. I really liked him earlier in the year. A dog called Dapper Rupert. He was sold to the UK. He's been flying in recent times in the UK. So just, he's one of those where he's not just coming over a purely UK form. He's won here at Shelbourne Park in good fashion. So he's no sort of coming into a blind. He knows his way around. He's 31.06 for the 575 earlier in the year, and the other heat was won by another talented greyhound. I think it was in 31.20. It wasn't, the track wasn't exactly flying at that stage. Yeah. So it's a good contest. Knockeen Dazzle will be a warm favourite, you'd suspect. Yeah. But he want to be doing everything right. If he's not in front of that corner, he's in trouble. Yeah,
you'd expect he would. Rapido Bob is one of the most improved dogs around here in the last couple of months. Heat 22. Unfortunately, we've stopped the dog on this, haven't we? Anti-post, Untold Dollar was very, very good here on Saturday night. We're both of the same opinion. We both thought he lost a couple of lengths between the sprint box and the 750 box as trap 2 moved off. I can't remember the name of trap 2. Evolution. Owen McKenna's dog moved off down the back straight. Still won in 29.30 odd. There hasn't been too many dogs that have gone quicker than that this year.
No, and he would have done 29.20 odd. Yeah. There's no question about it. A dog with brilliant form at the start of the year. He had a 27.93 around Cork at one point. He had some fine form in it was the plate stake from the unraced in Clonmel. I think he ran well in. And then he went to the UK. I think he won 2 competitions. I think he won the Marmore Puppy Cup, and I think he won another competition in Hove, if I remember rightly. It took him a while to settle back in. I think this was more the traps over here in Ireland. Just didn't quite get back into the rhythm, and was beaten in a couple of races where he should have won here at Shelbourne. But on Saturday night, we saw the Untold Dollar that we were suspecting we'd see. The 550-yard run to the corner will suit. Evolution did lead him the other night. It is worth pointing out off a good start.
He took a flyer though,
Now Evolution has really good early speed, but the manner in which he dispatched of him, even after finding a little bit of traffic, was very impressive. I was really taken by him. And when you text me and said still a bit of 50s about this fella, I went, well, sure, you know, it'll pay for a few points Derby final if we got there. You know, we take the each way money even at this stage.
We will. We'll take it right now, if we can get it. On to heat number 23. This is like a Shelbourne regulars district, isn't it? Heat number 23. Had the likes of Fahy Hazel, who won well in here a couple of weeks ago. Clonfertany, Bonkers and Yonkers, as you mentioned earlier on, always well supported on the top. Born to perform. Carrick, Keno, Clonfertany. It's a real regulars race, isn't it?
It is. Carrick Keno, if he was the dog he looked like he'd be at the start of the year, he'd be a very, very short price, but he was definitely feeling something in his last start here at Shelbourne. He's been missing since, so he's been nursed back, and you know, Robert wouldn't put him in if he's not back to perfect health. So if he can produce his best form, he's very much the one to beat. But from a punting point of view, that's not an option. Born to Perform is one I have a lot of time for. She can run. It's a case of, you know, whether she's right and fully ready, but she can definitely run. And the fact that Jennifer's putting her into it suggests, you know, that's good. That's good for me.
Jennifer knows what it takes to win a derby, of course, having won the last 2 derbies around here. On to heat number 24. Again, in good time here in trap number 4. Neon Lights ran well in the derby last year. I think he actually ran in your dad's race. Did he? Did he get to the final?
Yeah, I think he was second. I think he was second to the Blast Off dog.
And he's been a great servant for Alan Bourne. I think he won down at Dundalk on International Light.
Yeah, and he's won over up to 670 yards as well. Yeah, he's a real sort of consistent greyhound. It's not a great contest. In good time, has some really good provincial form. Yet to really produce it here at Shelbourne. Black Eyed Turbo is one I'd be considering here.
Kevin
She's very fast, Niamh Bond Girl, or as she was known as before she was sold.
Yes.
She's she can really fly. Deadly Choice obviously has plenty of good form as well, but it's not a race where you're going to find a Derby winner.
No, I don't think so, but you never know. Heat number 25 is the penultimate heat, and in here with Prince Nazim and 1 for Sean Conway. Quarry Boy is running really well. Romeo Taylor is probably going to go off favourite in 3, or Droopy's Raw. What do you reckon?
I assume Romeo Taylor will be favourite because he'll be in front.
Hello Diego ran well. He ran well.
Could be interesting off the last bend though.
Yeah.
Especially if the likes of a Hello Diego or a Droopy's Roar, or even a Prince Nazim is on his tail, or even a Quarry Boy. Ishi there has been running well, but yeah, Romeo Taylor will be long odds on to lead, and it's just a case of whether we can see it out.
Hello Diego was finalist in the Juvenile Derby, wasn't he? Running well for Paul Hennessy. Yeah, he's a dog with plenty of gears. And on to
Juvenile Derby. He was in the finals and something, alright.
I think it was Juvenile Derby, The 26th and final heat on Saturday night, and here we have Crafty Shelboune, the winner of last weekend's Laurels down in Cork. Cheap Sandwiches in trap 6. This is going to be a cracking betting race. It's probably a 2-dog affair. Which one are you going to be siding on? And the lucky last on Saturday after backing 25 losers, and we need to get out.
I won't be back at 25 losers. Crafty Shelboune, Cheap Sandwiches. You know, it's one of those where you could. I think I'd bet prices. I'm not sure I could put my finger if they're evens each of 2, and I'm not sure. I'm not sure what I'd go for. Crafty Shelboune was so impressive, and she did trial here, which is important.
29.50 odd, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, but I don't mind the time. It's just the fact that she was in the boxes. She's taken a look around the place again. She's sort of reacquainted herself to Shelboune Park. Like, she looked such a star when she won the Oaks. Be interesting to see how she goes. If she traps on terms, Cheap Sandwiches want to be doing everything right to lead her. The pace she showed in the final Laurels was stunning to the opening corner.
To lead Romeo Taylor after Romeo Taylor maybe out.
Now, Cheap Sandwiches ran a hell of a race behind Bocco's Diamond Dog the other day. Yes, he was staying on strongly and whatnot, but if you actually look, he missed the kick as well. And while Bocco's Diamond charged up the inside, this fellow was charging up the outside. I think the 550-yard switch has been the key to success. Well, it was in the Lee Strand where we first caught it the eye, 550 yard down at Tralee. 550 here at Shelboune Park has seen a new greyhound emerge, and I could see him very much so in the latter stages of Derby, as I could with Crafty Shelboune. I think it's a great way to finish off proceedings. Like, don't get me wrong, the rest of them aren't bad, but like, this is going to be they're going to be taking up a huge chunk of the betting market. Like, there'll be double figures about most of the remainder. Yeah,
if you're looking to get out on one of the others, you are in serious trouble on heat 26. That's it. Give us a minute. Anti-post.
I've been saying for a while, it's a bit top heavy.
It is.
You know, it is a bit top heavy. It's the top 7 or 8 in the market. They've been found and then some. Like,
it's very hard to back out.
No greyhound should be 5 or 6 to 1 to win a Derby. And as good as Bocco's Diamond is, and if they were the same price, all 156 of them, he'd be the one you'd pick out. But I wouldn't be backing him at 5 or 6 to 1. Nor would I be backing Callaway at single figure odds. The laddie Da showed just what can happen for him if he's drawn in the middle the other evening. He just lacks that yard into the opening corner. And then you go to like March on Freddy is well found. Bombay Pat is well found. Like Bombay Pat, we have yet to see him really trap. March on Freddie's yet to run here at Shelboune Park, race here at Shelboune Park. So like there's a few question marks. Normally at this point in the Derby you'd be going, oh, I'll pick something that's unexposed, but the Derby's that month and a half later this year. Dogs have been well exposed. Like, you know what I mean? There's not too many that are going to rapidly improve. Like I'd throw the likes of a Cheap Sandwiches into the mix, a Crafty Chevu, like they're available at 20 to 1, maybe bigger. Outside of that, like it's tricky. Troopy's Bookham, I think he probably missed the boat there. He's probably a bit too short for me at this stage, but a lot can happen over the next few weeks. I'd love to see Tono Charlie go deep.
Yeah, I think for the competition as well, it's a real good story.
I think one of Tono Charlie or BoyleSports Bob will be in the latter stages of the Derby. There will be a dog of that ilk, that sort of real hard-running, strong-running greyhound that'd stay further into the Derby, and those two have a bit more class than some of the 575-yard, 600-yard dogs that are in it. So I wouldn't be surprised if one of those two were very deep in the Derby.
At a huge price, we both like Carrick-Aldo. I think he's a dog. I know he's been around a while, but he's very, very lightly raced. He's only had 7 races since February this year, and 5 of them were over 2 bends, and he was very good.
And towards the back end of the Irish Sprint Cup, he definitely wasn't right.
Yeah, he wasn't.
He was just feeling a little something.
Yeah.
I thought he ran very well here the other night.
Yeah, so did I. And I think the longer run to the bend will suit him. Like, he was getting beaten a few of them 5.25s around here, but those 5.25s here on a Saturday night are just specialist. If you don't do 2 seconds, no matter how much early pace you have, you're not going to.
But no matter what we say here now, in 5 weeks' time, people will be going, oh, I can't believe you didn't tip up that fella. Wide seed, early speed. Well, that's what's going to happen. Wide seed, early speed. And that's where people get stuck in because they think, well, they're guaranteed their draw most nights. And if you have the early speed, they clear them. And that's where Bocco's Diamond sort of fits the mold.
He does.
That type of dog, Cheap Sandwiches, Bocco's Diamond, those early paces on the outside. And who's to say March on Freddie couldn't sort of develop into something like his brother, Bocco's Diamond? It'd be interesting.
March on Freddie is the real interesting one this weekend for me. That's it from us. We've went through all 26 heat. Don't forget the Derby starts here Friday night at 7:34 in the brand new Shelbourne Park. We hope you can make it. We'll see you then.